the heart of an industrial revolution is an innovation that changes everything. Building AI Boston sees artificial intelligence as a renaissance. From the heart of innovation and the mecca of tech learning, we bring you AI for Real People, a conversation for everyone. This week, we bring you groundbreaking conversations with women from around the globe at the AI-powered Women's Summit at MIT. From expert advice on AI to the human-centric stories from panelists from all walks of life. This conference highlighted courage, the kind that happens when we share wisdom without judgment. Founder Dr. Felicia Newhouse says, it's in the space between knowing and not knowing that innovation flourishes. Get ready to be inspired because this is the impact the world has been waiting for. So one of the best parts of being a babe, which is building AI Boston, today we are in Boston and we are at the AI-powered Women's Summit here at MIT. Cara, you and I had a great day because we both got to be rock stars, and I'm so proud of Cara. She was a panelist. She got to share a lot of our enthusiasm for what we do, and I got to sing. So how did you feel about today?
Oh, it was so much fun, and you have a really beautiful voice. What I thought about today was how down-to-earth everyone was. We just have a different way of doing things.
We had Ellen Sprague from Orlando came all the way here, and Joanna Pena-Bickley. These are both women that are been on the show and future guests. I think what I learned from today was that it's really important to have these conversations face-to-face. We're just lucky to get to do what we do, but this is exactly why I wanted this show to fly, because there's a mecca of brain trust here that really can go out to the world. Is that kind of your feeling?
Yeah, and I think the word trust is so important. One of the vibes throughout today was just that people were being honest with each other and kind of trusting each other, and there's this feeling of the vulnerability is okay. And in a moment like this, when the tech is so big and so hard to understand, it's really helpful to just be able to say, I don't fully get it. I'm working on trying to understand it. You don't fully get it. It's okay. Let's work on it and figure it out together. It humanizes something that feels like it could be a very non-humanized, space.
We have to take competition out of the conversation. And the women here just felt very enthusiastic. They felt really kind of passionate about this. It feels like a moment in history. Did you feel like that?
Yeah, it really did. And the connections that you were seeing happening, it was insane. And there are just brilliant people here today. Yes, they happen to be women, but they're brilliant. They're thoughtful. They have so much to add. And the confidence, even though I was just talking about there's we all have a little bit of lack of confidence, there's also this confidence and openness that you can feel. And, these events that John Warner likes to talk about with his imagination and action events, he talks a lot about something in this room could be happening. The next Google could be forming right in this room. And I think it's true. And I think that suits today, too. And, maybe it won't look like a Google or a Facebook because, we're not the same as those dudes. But something special happened here today. And it also shows how much more of this we need.
Oh, yeah. And I don't think this is a one and done, right? This is going to happen. And what's so thrilling is that I got to sit and watch other people talking about their industries. I'm very passionate about mental health. The stats on mental health and what people are, really thinking about with AI solutions. I was shocked for all the ways that there's biases in even the intake for mental health patients. I had no idea that AI was actually uncovering a problem in that process. I feel like we're at a moment, and we're at a moment where there can be mass hope or mass hysteria. I'm really proud that we can bring a little hope into it by what Cara is talking about, by breaking down, some of people's fears, but also, just this transparency and this truth that we're all getting at. This is a big moment, and I think it's a good one. And after today, I feel very, very passionate about what's going to happen in the future. There's a lot of bright people that are moving the needle.
Okay, and seriously, we're going to be saying last word and passing it back and forth for the next 15 minutes, but this really is my last word. If you're watching this and you're like, oh, darn it, I wasn't there, I missed out, gee, I missed something important. No, you didn't, because this conversation's going to keep going. It's going to be on Building AI Boston. It's going to be in other places. So don't worry, no FOMO allowed. Just hook in now, and there's so much left to learn.
And stay tuned for all of our interviews with people that actually came today and did get the benefit. She's right. No fear of missing out. We'll see you soon. I'm having a wrap-up session with two women that I actually came here to purposely put together. And I have to say, you both came from far away. Where are you from, Ellen?
I'm Ellen from Orlando, so
Great.
Orlando, Florida.
Orlando, Florida, and?
I'm just down the road from you and down 95, New York, New York.
New York. Okay. So one of my favorite things that came up today was this idea of cross-pollination. And I happen to know both of your stories. You're both women in AI. But Ellen, you're new to the journey. She's an AI founder. And Joanna, you're a seasoned veteran. She's got a couple things under her belt. Vibes AI and Amazon Alexa, to just name drop a little bit. So the funny thing about this is that you two intersected a while ago.
Okay.
And when I heard Ellen's story, she's a medical professional. She's the person that goes into hospitals and determines what can be done better. She's a procedural specialist. And then when the pandemic hit, her husband, also a medical professional, came down with COVID and landed in the ER. And now she's playing this dual role as a wife and patient advocate in the middle of a stressful time for first responders, her being one of them. And the only thing that got her through was that she carried an Amazon Alexa into the room every day. And that was her phone a friend. So can you imagine? I'm going to tell you, I know.
Forgive me, like that.
That's okay.
It makes the late nights worth it. Thank you for sharing that story, because there were lots of women and lots of late nights, unsung heroes that I wish were here today, that were behind so many of the decisions that made Alexa an indispensable assistant to people. But what we found during the pandemic, we could look at our data and tell, people in charge and that we were going through a loneliness epidemic way before the pandemic. And some of that was how people were turning to artificial intelligence, Alexa specifically, from everything from marriage proposals. We can have a whole fun conversation about that, but also just companionship that sometimes we're missing. And during COVID, one of the use cases that emerged, right? If you were in the healthcare space, my husband was in the healthcare space, emerged was you could no longer, because of the PPE shortages, exposure to people with COVID pre the vaccine was very limited. And so if you had someone who was suffering from COVID on a ventilator, they couldn't see or be with their loved ones. And so people it was a healthcare professional that started utilizing drop-in, the Alexa drop-in feature, to be able to drop it into a hospital room to talk with their loved one, to make that connection. And that was just fueled us so much more to even continue to work on things like those kinds of features. When we said we can be a force for good, that Alexa could be more of an indispensable assistant, not just in your home, but to connect with loved ones at a critical time, which was really I think ended up becoming an explosion of what we now, I know Amazon now calls aging in place, which was a whole practice around how AI can help people at any age and any stage, in any case of disability, really begin to think about what it means to age in place and to be healthy in place and how to propagate better health. But, that's everything from the mental health side of it, but it's also, because companionship is important, and I don't want to purport that this is about replacing human companionship. But for some people, before you can have a human companion, sometimes you need a memory companion. Sometimes, I need a menopause companion most mornings. So to be able to say the things that you would, maybe not to a human, but to somebody that you trusted, to hear your story about it is just, it makes all of the late nights, the 3 a.m.s worth working.
Thank you for sharing that. And I know another thing. Ellen turned over the couch cushions to be here because she wanted to meet you. But I know, so there's that. But I know you also came for a lot of other reasons. Can you share a little bit about why you wanted to be here as a new AI founder?
Absolutely. I just think that being in the room with such amazing people just right now, having an opportunity to be in the same space with you. I just wanted to thank you for developing the technology that you did, just so that the rest of us can use it to grow and continue to grow within a community. And so all I wanted to do was thank you, but just to be in the same room with influential people who already are experts within their field. I'm very much someone who I will tell everyone that I have ever trained, they know that I say I don't have all the answers, but I will find them. I will find them with you. And so just being able to have a place where you can go and know that you have very valid resources and people who are willing to help you and are experts in their field, and they know what they're doing and they want to support you. And women, of course, women supporting women who are new in business and they're just extending hands is a big deal. So I think it's very important.
One of the things I think is really important, let me just start by offering thank you for saying that, and I appreciate that. And you have a seat at my table anytime, particularly as a female founder. That journey is hard, but it's worth it. And as a third-time female founder, I've had immense success, but I will tell you that the best success that ever hit was always when I emerged out of a major failure, or at least what I perceived as a major failure. I think we as women tend to pigeonhole ourselves and think we get one chance at it. You don't. And actually, the world gives us a lot more chances at this, as long as you honestly try to go and solve a problem. Nobody will ever fault you for that. I think one of the things that I have loved today is actually meeting other female founders who are earlier in the journey than I am, to help bring them along with us. Because the technology, yes, there's foundational technology out there, but there's so many women who are builders and just need the tools to start building on their own, and the confidence and the connection, that I think, if this is a forum that provides it for you, please reach out. We need more women in this space. It is probably the rest of my life's work to see that there are more women in this space, because often we're not thinking about conquering the world. We're thinking about just conquering the bill that's sitting on our kitchen table, or feeding our children, or getting them into the right college, or making sure that they are healthy human beings, which needs to be funded. And so much of the work that I do with other female founders is helping them just expand the aperture a little bit, right, in telling that story. Because when you expand that aperture, what you realize, there are more moms out there. You're actually solving a problem that for a lot more people than you know they were doing. And then how do you best position it? And to me, that was a part of the heart of today, was not just hearing from VCs, but hearing from women who are in totally different stages of the journey, and just brainstorming with other human beings, not just ChatGPT in your office, by the way, or Perplexity or Claude or any of the 100 other tools out there. But then sharing where you are in your journey. What were the pitfalls? I mean, my goodness, and there are tons of them. But my encouragement to you is, one, continue to connect. We are all human. There's nothing that separates us than sometimes experience in class. And I like to break class barriers, because if I could be a middle class kid from San Antonio, Texas, who was dyslexic and counted out from every teacher and every advisor, they were like, yeah, you could go to a remedial school, right? I was told many, many times how smart I was not. Then I look at other women and go, if I can empower you in a way that maybe the system didn't empower me, and it's a little bit easier for you, sister, all day, you have my commitment of helping you.
I can't top that, and I feel like this is
anybody can make it. Anybody can do it. But it's hard. Anybody can do it, but it is hard, and you've got to put really good people who believe in you as a human being. You'll have 20 ideas, maybe half of them are good. It's about believing in you as a human being and making sure you kind of put a board of directors. I call that, we should be leveraging AI in a way that's helping you build a board of directors of human beings that helps you get to the next place.
I want to just speak to some of that this has been a very safe space. I think all around people have felt that. I interviewed Dr. Felicia, and one of the things she said about COVID was this true burnout feeling. And do you know that during that time I had a media company, I'm the CEO, and they expected so much out of me as a single mom that I felt like a failure. And it wasn't until I heard Dr. Newhouse with her data. Oh my gosh, we were all living in a nightmare, but just to hear her say that, I buried all the dead on the battlefield, and I thought, I'm stronger today, I'm surrounded by women, and I'm in a media field that moves the needle. So thank you for everything both of you have shared. I'm going to give you both a final word about takeaways and what's next.
I'm just thankful for this conference, specifically to kind of remove the barrier of fear that a new business entrepreneur would have moving forward into this technology realm, because we really do need AI to progress forward, and really it's honoring the past with the technology of the future, and I really think that integration is important. So I'm just grateful for this meeting, so thank you.
You know what? I will hope that more and more entrepreneurs find AI in a way that helps them augment their authentic intelligence, their AI. You have to remember, we are the original AI. And for all of the hype and buzz out there, the real truth is we're pretty far from generalized AI. And so by just bringing down the temperature level of the hype for a minute and go, there's still so much space to explore within where we are right now, that, you know what, those guys are going to fail at that. I lived through their first failures. Let them fail. Let us fail in a way that helps us move our authentic needle forward, and that is about augmenting our authentic intelligence. Today, AI, I think a lot of people are very, very fearful of it in a way that it's about replacing humans. And I actually think when done correctly, it's about actually augmenting our authentic intelligence so that we can free ourselves to actually solve the real problems that stand in the way of real progress for humanity, for this planet, or for your community.
It feels critical. Thank you for all your words and the wisdom from both of you. It's been a pleasure to be around you, to moderate this beautiful conversation from the heart. I think this is what Dr. Felicia wanted for everyone. But thank you for being here, and thank you both for becoming friends on the spot, I think.
Absolutely. An honor to be here with both of you and everyone in the room.
So one of the wonderful things about being in a women's conference is talking to the wonderful women that are here. Sarah, thanks for being here and then agreeing to chat with us a little bit.
Thank you. So, first of all, it is an honor to be here, and I am so thankful that you are including me in this. So,
well, how can I not? Because you are definitely one of Boston's finest, and one of the reasons why this podcast exists is because of people like Sarah. Sarah, tell us a little bit about what you do in the AI space and in the Boston community.
Yeah, so not specifically to the AI space, but I am the CEO of the Massachusetts Technology Leadership Council, and we're a membership organization that supports the growth of an inclusive technology ecosystem. And essentially, we're a membership organization for tech companies here in Massachusetts. They're not all headquartered here for sure, but they at least have a decent-sized presence here. I am so passionate about Series A, Series B, hyper-growth companies right now, and in particularly those that are headquartered in Massachusetts. And that is where AI comes into it, because every tech company has to, if you're not creating an AI product, you're embedding AI into your product or your workflows. So it's a critical thing for us all to be aware of and paying attention to.
And thank you, because I feel very included in this community, though I come from far away, and you're one of the reasons why. I mean, you're one of the people that I feel like walks that walk, and I think that's really important, and you know, it's great to be face-to-face. I mean, I just don't think I could feel this way if we were just chatting on a podcast somewhere else. But what was one of your biggest takeaways from today?
Oh, there were so many. I think the biggest takeaway for me was just the depth at which AI is going to impact life in general, and from the most mundane, product to healthcare, to what's going on in space. I mean, they really covered the gamut here. But I think the best thing about today was being in the room with these amazing women. I just am blown away at the diversity of which we had in the room, and the different purviews of which everybody was coming from. So I do think that's the biggest takeaway. And to your point of being here, I believe that no matter what technology brings, people are always going to be at the core of it. That is where innovation's truly made. It's where businesses are made. It's where relationships are made, and it's how we're going to survive. So,
it's great to hear from you. You run a very human-centric business, nonprofit, and you are a dynamic leader. Thank you so much for chatting with me.
Yep. Thank you for having me. Thanks for being here.
So we're getting a lot of buzz that's coming right from the event. I'm so happy to be talking to you, Pam. What is it that you do with AI, or tell me a little bit about what you do?
So I've been in the B2B marketing space for over 25 years in technology, mostly in HR technology and learning solutions. So I have been in-house and I've been on my own, and I'm currently a fractional CMO helping companies that are AI forward in those disciplines. Now, in addition, I have my side hustle, which is I have developed a training program for marketers. It's called the Marketing AI Jumpstart, and it's designed to build a level of proficiency across a marketing team to be familiar with and use generative AI tools. So the idea is that marketers can really learn from each other on their teams, because I've seen that sparkle in someone's eye when they hear someone else's use case and then say, well, wait a second, if you're doing that, then I can do this with my work, and particularly when they're in the same company.
That's really the biggest takeaway for me, is this idea of cross-pollination, and then efficacy, and you're spot on. I mean, in organizations where things are siloed and people don't learn from each other, that makes no sense at all. So what was one of your bigger takeaways then?
Well, I think my biggest takeaway from today was just what a supportive ecosystem we have here, not only just locally in the Massachusetts area. I know women have come from all over the country to be here today, is just that network and that community and that safe space and the ability to say, I don't know, but maybe together we can figure it out. And I think anybody who doesn't say that, at least occasionally, isn't really paying attention, because that's what we all have to be saying in AI.
Well, you're so dynamic. I hope you'll come back for a full interview, because it's a pleasure to speak to you. Thank you so much, Pam.
You too.
The best part of being at a women's conference is hearing from so many different people. Sylvia, I'm so honored that you came in with your expertise. Can you tell our audience what you do and maybe what you were hoping to find here?
Okay, so I have started a new company. We are a health tech startup. What we do is we are developing tools to how to retain nurses, and we are using AI to do some of the items in the tool. So I wanted to come here to actually look at what the whole AI tech, how far they've come, and also to take some ideas. And more so, I wanted to network and also look for funding to take it to the next step. And I must say I have achieved all the three of them. So I'm very happy about that.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
So were you pleased with the people that could help you, even if they were from different industries?
Absolutely. So this event, the one thing that stood out for me was the opportunities that we had for networking. So during the networking, I found that there was a lot of people who came from different diverse, especially during lunch. And we spoke about what they were doing, and we found out that there were so many things that even in different industries, we could collaborate and do things. So that was really interesting. Yeah, so I had someone on my desk who was with the venture care. So they organized meetings in Boston. So she invited me to come over and talk, things like that. And then I also saw someone who was a caregiver and was looking to do an AI tool, so felt that my work was going to inform her work, which was something I wasn't expecting.
Wow, so you came to be edified, but somebody found edification through you. Okay, so what was one of your biggest takeaways then from the whole day? Can you sum it up any one thing?
this was information, not overload, but good information. I can't really pinpoint which one I didn't like. It was a long day, but it built on each other. So I left here feeling really excited about the AI industry, but also very cautious, because they raised up a lot of ethical things also for us developers to start to think. Because I was very happy too, because I had already put a lot of safeguards and firewall already in our application. So it kind of aligned with the conversation. So I left here, I'm leaving here really feeling more energetic, more informed, more knowledgeable, and ready to take the next step.
From you to the world, that's beautiful inspiration. And I like that you brought up that it's complex, right? It's not just straightforward. We think AI is a bonus, but there's ethical questions. But this is a very safe space, and we're glad that you were a contributor by being here. Thank you, Sylvia.
Thank you so much for having me.
I'm especially excited to talk to Karen today because I have just met her, and I want to ask you, what do you do with AI, or what is your background?
It's so nice to meet you. Thanks for asking. This conference was incredible. My background is actually a mix of healthcare, marketing, technology, and media. So I bring this like fun little sauce to the AI table. But what we're doing at Purposely Social at this company I've just founded is really all about social health and how we can use AI to better understand how social decisions impact our overall health. So it's really like the first time in history we can kind of draw cause and effect between our social decisions and our physical health. So just like we're kind of on the bleeding edge of AI, we're sort of on the bleeding edge of social health. So like lots of opportunity.
Yeah. And as a person who's deeply interested in like human-centric business, I think we've landed on our next guest for Building AI Boston. I love to break down complex issues, but I like to get it to kind of the digestible, because Building AI Boston is really helping the rest of the world even understand what people are doing with AI. Were you expecting to find something here other than the camaraderie and the face-to-face conversations? Were you intrigued by anything that you were looking for?
For sure. I think that like some of the tools even people were talking about, right? Like little hacks, it's like, that's going to save me 90 minutes tomorrow, right? Like absolutely, like the Google Notebook LLM, like, oh my gosh, I can just dump information in there and it can spit it out to me at my convenience via audio. I mean, that's huge, right? In a world where we're trying to be hyper productive, where we can't learn fast enough, it's like, just coming together to share hacks like that is so important. And I also think sitting in a room full of women this intelligent and this storied was unbelievable. I didn't necessarily expect that. I mean, it was 3 rungs above, I think, any conference I've been to probably in the last 5 years.
Okay, so I'm sensing you're going to come back.
For sure.
And also, I mean, I got the privilege of talking to Felicia in a very relaxed conversation like this, and what I noticed about her, regardless of her 3 degrees, she felt like a friend, and I think she builds her conference around, like, camaraderie, and I feel like I just got, like, a whole host of new friends that, like, phone a friend, and I'm guessing you felt the same.
Such a great point. Gonna call you tomorrow.
Not me, because I'm not the tech wizard, but I appreciate that. And I think that I appreciate what you do, because I care a lot about healthcare, and I care a lot about social justice, and then, making sure that it all fits together, and making sure, like something like AI can really bridge a complex issue.
And I think it was Gabby that talked about empowering people with AI versus replacing people with AI, and that is exactly what we are focused on. It's like, how can we improve human flourishing via AI? How can we improve our relationships via AI? Not that AI does it for us, they just are an enablement tool.
Yeah, and that's a big topic, because I told the world today that I was worried for my job as a writer, and then I realized, okay, but it wasn't until I had these conversations. So I appreciate you being here. Do you want to have any last word? What was your favorite thing or your takeaway from this event?
How smart women in Boston are. It's true.
It is really true, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Yeah. Thanks so much for having me.
Oh, and I'm going to make you my first phone a friend, because I think we have a lot more to cover.
Sounds great.
I'm so excited to talk to Anusha. Anusha, like Cara Peterson, you're also in legal tech.
Yes, I am. I'm at VLEX, which has Vincent, which is an AI assistant for legal. So for law firms and legal departments, and actually a lot of other people in the space.
I have a little legal background myself. I was a paralegal in a family law office, and I really like tech innovations because I can see how it saves a lot of, the conflict that's naturally around litigious cases. Or what was your primary reason for coming here today? What were you hoping to get?
So I came today because a friend at a law firm said she was coming, and I said, well, I want to go too. And we actually then kind of invited, we have a legal tech, Women in Legal Tech in Boston group, and so we shared with all of them. So we had a group come from the legal tech segment within Boston, small but growing, and really it was, we're a small kind of niche area. What is everyone else talking about? And how can we learn from that? And then what can we offer as well based on our area, which is pretty complex within the law. So that's why we came today.
That's incredible, because that's what I felt. I felt like people learned from each other, and good for you for bringing friends. This is exactly what I love about Boston, is exactly what you expressed. So now I'm just going to ask you, kind of, what was your best takeaway from the day?
Ooh, there were a lot of great takeaways today. I mean, the expertise, the credentials of the women on these panels today was just astounding, and I think that in and of itself is a takeaway of just like the power that we have in women in AI in the Boston area in this concentrated location is just exciting and empowering. And the message too, though, that even as credentialed as you are, this is just a new and evolving, relatively speaking, an evolving space. That it is an equalizer in some way, that we're still all learning together. And that was definitely a theme that came through today and that I found really powerful. And then there were other fun things, like I just met a woman who does corporate tarot card readings to help people tap into their gut to make product decisions. Like, who knew?
Who knew that was the thing? I mean, I learned so many things, but I didn't get to go to all the tracks. But I think Boston is a fascinating ecosystem for that reason. And I fully outed myself as a non-tech person. So I think that the collaborative, like, go ahead and mess it up like it's your birthday spirit, and that we're all learning together, you totally summed it up. Great job. I think I have an exclusive. This is the only male that dared to come to the AI-powered women's conference. Welcome, Alex.
Thank you. I'm really excited to be here, and it's unique atmosphere and unique takeouts that I can bring to my professional work, and it's inspiring. The energy here and the amount of quality people, because our society at this moment still struggle to be equal, and I see that women that are successful, they need to work a lot harder.
I love this, that we're just solving toxic masculinity. I'm not really on a soapbox normally, but I just want, you're incredible. That's incredible.
It's not incredible. It should be normal. The question is how we can progress together, and and collaborate better.
Okay, so I'm sensing that your family dynamic is excellent between you and your wife. So you're very evolved.
I'm working on that. So if we not ignore ourselves and not ignore our partners, we will be good.
Okay, we're just solving all the world's problems right here with Alex and I. But I want to ask you, since you were brave enough to step into this arena and you've talked about, learning from each other, what was your big takeaway from today?
Biggest takeaway is sometimes you need go through the stages in a way where you grow in yourself even when you uncomfortable. And a lot of people who are here, they're going through a lot of pushbacks, takeouts, just by their look. And we all need to go through difficult stages, and it's always learning process. So never stop and continue to grow and collaborate. This is main energy here.
Bobby, it's an honor to talk to you today as co-host of this incredible event with Dr. Felicia Newhouse. I want to say, first of all, I met you over Zoom the first time, and I had no idea how cool it was going to be to sit and chat with you face to face. So thank you for everything. Yeah, exactly. The energy in the room is great. I've been doing a lot of interviews with very impressed women, but thank you for bringing such camaraderie to, Boston and beyond. How do you feel at the end of this day?
I feel incredible. I mean, I'm so excited to have not only the attendees, but to have so many awesome speakers. That's so important to me.
And everybody commented on that. I mean, and what's great is that I think there was zero intimidation. So bravo for getting people to, feel connected with. I feel like I got, 200 brand new smart friends that were on speed dial when I need to solve a big problem.
That is a great feeling, and it's actually one of the things that we talked about originally when we were working on the plans. How can people feel a sense of connection to other people after the event?
Yeah, and I think you really nailed it, because I think there was a lot of vulnerability and honesty, and a lot of people felt like, I feel okay now to kind of mess it up if I'm learning and I don't feel. I mean, that is the prime directive, I think, for education and in general, is that we don't make it an intimidation game.
Safe to fail is a really big concept, and I do think that there's a lot of nervousness, especially as women, because we have to be perfect.
Yeah.
And, we have all kinds of people watching, ready to pounce on any mistake. And so being in an environment where we do have the ability to fail and fail safely is important.
Now, I just told you that a little while ago that I have a friend from NASA. Her TEDx talk was exactly that. Failure must be an option, and I think that this is just such a kind environment. So the compassion was there. There's a lot of elevated talking, even though we've been here all day. What was your takeaway from meeting all these people and then hosting this event?
I think one of the things that I'll take away is that, number one, there is so much interest among women for AI. And it's funny, I see a lot of topics in tech like this, and when I talk to event organizers and I say, hey, we have all these amazing women who are ready to speak at your event about this technology or that technology, a lot of times they're surprised. Oh, you have so many women interested in blockchain or IoT or whatever. I'm like, yes, we do. They are right here, and there are many of them, and they are easy to be found. And I think people think that women aren't interested in this, and it's just unfortunate that these kind of stereotypes exist.
And I think I've talked to Felicia about that too. And, this is a real problem, but I think that this kind of conversation, what you're doing is groundbreaking for that reason. We even had Yvonne Howe here today, and she talked about the perception in her, sphere of influences that women are just not interested in tech. I think we blew the lid off that one today.
Yeah, and I think also so many women interested in tech, all ages. We had students here, we had people who are retired, so a big breadth and depth in terms of people who are just getting started to people who have been working in this for decades.
I saw Beverly Kahn, who's one of my favorite people, 82 years old, and she's part of the Massachusetts Miracle, and she was impressed. I remembered her. She's kind of unforgettable.
Yeah. Absolutely.
As are you, and I'm so thrilled to chat with you, and I know that we're going to have her back because we have much more to unpack. Thank you so much for this incredible event. You've given people so much food for thought and actual food, and everybody that came was really nourished by the spirit of today. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us on Building AI Boston. Stay tuned for more enlightening episodes that put you at the forefront of the conversations shaping our future.